ITM Cup roundup again. Otago versus Tasman. Yeah, Otago eventually running that one out, 41 points to 34. Pretty key player in the game was old Glenn Dixon, sliding 8 from 9, getting 21 points, stepping in for injured Hayden Parker. But two pretty key moments as well, where Peter Beetham and Nakoro both respectively gathering intercepts off some loose Otago passes. Um, they at one stage were leading 31 points to 18. Pretty quiet all of a sudden down in the glasshouse. But Fumiaki Tanaka sparked a bit of a late surge for the Razorbacks when he scored a brilliant solo try. Bit of a find of the season, that guy. He's really been awesome. And I really hope he comes back next year. Just a different flavour. He's a new mould of halfback. He's super fit, super fast, got a great pass on him. So he's been a real big find for Otago this season. Otago dominated the latter stages of the game, running out the last 20 minutes 23-3 to eventually get them into the final. Now, they still didn't know whether they had to travel or they were going to have the luxury of staying at the Glasshouse for another week. That wasn't found out until Counties and Southland met in Pukekohe on the Saturday afternoon. Counties, however, did prevail, 48 points to 23. Um, Special mention should be made to Hawani McDonald and his family. During the game, Hawani suffered what is believed to have been a cardiac arrest and had to be rushed to hospital. Was put in an induced coma for a day, I believe, and is now out of the coma and is now responding to questions and family and familiar faces. So all the best to him and his family in his recovery, and hopefully comes well. Southland were the better team for the first 20 minutes the first half, um, dominating field position, territory, and possession of the ball. Um, had a very good lead, deserved lead, 20 points to 11 at the break. However, second half, typical game of two halves scenario. Bundy Aki and Ray Lilo started causing huge havoc in the back line there, and County's passes started sticking also. Absolutely blowing Southland off the park in that second half. Baden Kerr again in fine form. Yeah, it sort of summed up Southland's second half when I think the last play of the game, Kerr pushed the penalty wide, and Southland tried running it out, and a loose pass was swooped on by Ray Lilo, and he scored under the posts. So that was really salt in the wound there. That took us to the Premiership semi-finals, and Canterbury hosted Taranaki. I think most people in Canterbury figured that they were just going to walk over and be hosting the final again, but Naki had other ideas. Forcing extra time, 27 all. That's the first time since 1992. That's only the second time there's been extra time. The other game was Otago North Harbour in 1992. But Canterbury, yeah, showed a bit of class, scoring 3 tries in the extra time, blowing the score out 51-27, but no, Naki didn't deserve it to be that big a scoreline. Bodine Barrett shows some class at this level. He's the more that Taranaki can have him, even if it's just picking his brains and helping recruit and teach other players coming through the Taranaki system, they'll be there or thereabouts again next season. Tom Taylor, yeah, had another good game for Canterbury as well. So Canterbury through to the final, and who they were going to face was later decided in Wellington. Wellington hosted Auckland, and Auckland took that one out 33 points to 22. Sean Treby and Woodward were the standout ones for Wellington. Um, Woodward pretty good with the boot, but huge pressure from Auckland basically caused Wellington to crumble in the second half. Made them do a lot of tackles, turned over a lot of their pill in the first half, and it just sort of compounded in the second half again. Fekitoa got a brace, and Hayden Parks sealed the game for the boys from the biggest city. Yeah, unfortunate for the boys from the capital. Would have thought they would have really gone on. They would have been the one to beat Canterbury. But watching this game, I think Auckland defensively, if they bring the same sort of game to Canterbury, I mean, hey, they could walk out of Christchurch with the title. Um, I know I'll be backing Auckland. Basically got to share that title around. Canterbury can't have it 5 years in a row here. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Um, and also later on that evening was the All Blacks Wallabies clash, which ended in an 18-all draw. Bit like kissing your sister, really. Um, AB's looked more likely to score tries on the night, but things that had been sticking all year hadn't been, and I think that was because of good defensive pressure by the Wallabies. Um, Aussies lacked the killer blow. They had about 24 phases at the end before they turned the ball over with a penalty. They could have had a drop goal at any one of those times, but chose not to for whatever reason. All Blacks did well to work their way 80 metres downfield to have a shot at goal. Carter, if anything, struck it too well. So, yeah, he just pushed it wide. Higginbotham's two-match ban, pretty soft, really. Um, the intention was there. It doesn't matter if McCaw wasn't injured. What if he was injured? He intended to do those actions, and just a slap on the wrist, really, isn't it? It's not going to deter anyone from causing any grief to any rugby player on the field. So I think IRB, SANZAR, all the judicial boards need to really take a stand, really harden up. It's player safety, isn't it? That's why you're all focusing on all these laws around scrums and everything. Yeah, sweet as, that's cool, but really, when there's a serious thing you know, like what happened in the weekend with kneeing or tip tackles or anything like that, the punishments need to be stronger. You got to look after your players, otherwise you've got no game. So looking forward to the finals for next week. First one is Counties versus Otago. Um, Otago lucky enough to be welcoming back three All Blacks: Adam Thompson, Ben Smith, and the other one coming back into the fold. Um, that I think should push them into a bit of a favourable position. Um, they, yeah, all season have sort of trucked along up and down season, but having those three guys back is quite key. Tamati Ellison, sorry about forgetting that. They should, they should really have a bit more polishing finish to their game, better defensive system as well. Counties have been the form team of the championship this year. Um, really hope that they do get up, and they've deserved to be promoted. So hopefully home crowd turns out Friday night, and good old County Steelers crack on and win that one. And in the Premiership final, got Canterbury and Auckland. Um, yeah, it should be a very interesting game. I believe Canterbury can do it. Pretty classy finish to the season. Um, but I think Auckland do have a chance. As I said earlier, if they bring that same defensive game as they did against the Lions, um, there's no reason why they couldn't win. They've got the players, they've got the depth as well on their bench. So I mean, be very interesting to see how that game pans out. Anyway, guys, hey, thanks for tuning in. All the best. Support your teams this weekend, and yeah, bring on Love ITM Cup. Cheers.